Welcome to Glowing Success. My name is Heidi and I am your host. This podcast is for beauty entrepreneurs. Join me weekly as we dive into the beauty industry's ins and outs, from business strategies, top-selling services, and taboo topics. I will be interviewing industry leaders with empowering stories and game-changing insights. Let's illuminate your path to success together. Let's jump into this next episode. Welcome to the PocketSuite Mini Series. This episode is brought to you by PocketSuite, the app helping independent beauty and wellness professionals simplify their business and stay connected with clients. In today's episode, we're talking with Rosselen, a massage therapist who's known for her personalized approach, customizing each session to create a truly therapeutic experience for every client. We'll dive into how she stands out in this competitive market and how tools like PocketSuite help her keep her business running smoothly while maintaining that personal touch. Welcome, Rosselen.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited to get to know you a little bit better, get to know your business a little bit better, and then, of course, just chat with you about all the things. But first and foremost, of course, if the listener doesn't know who you are, can you go into a little bit about how you got started with massage and maybe even how you started your business?
Yes, of course. So, my name is Rosalind, and I go by the Dallas Massage Therapist on social media. I've been practicing massage for over a decade. I got licensed in aesthetics during the pandemic, and I recently, in the state of Texas, got my instructor's teaching license. So, I am on this trajectory to start growing and start evolving, not just being a practitioner. The way I got into massage was I myself suffered from quite a bit of chronic pain. I'm an active person. I advocate for being an athlete and I wanted it so bad, but I just wasn't blessed with any of those natural genetics. And so it was really hard for me to keep up the training and the strength portion. And so I was exposed to massage very early on when I was very young and felt like it really was effective for me because I was overcompensating and overworking my body. And so when I would go and be treated by a medical professional, they would say, "There's nothing wrong with you." But the reality was, I was overusing my muscles, I was compensating in all the wrong ways. When I decided to go to college, I felt a little lost and decided I'm going to pursue something that I'm passionate about, and then I'll kind of figure out the higher education later. So, in that process, I went to massage school and I had a natural affinity for it. It just made sense to me. The power of touch, I am a huge believer of it, and I am always educating people on that it's not an intimate practice, that it is so much more powerful, and it can really change your lifestyle if you just incorporate something that gives you some sort of maintenance and grounds you so you can keep pushing in your daily life, either professionally or if you're kind of like a weekend warrior or even a professional athlete. That was when I really fell in love with it, and the aesthetics came because I really love the facial massage portion. It's a full body experience from head to toe. When you are working on the muscles, we can only work through the skin. So there were times where I would see skin issues and I was like, it's time for me to understand what this is for, and how to treat this and be more effective for my treatments and my clients. So that's where the aesthetics came into play. And then now, as a massage therapy instructor, I am looking to help build teams and just expand the knowledge that I've acquired. So, yeah.
That's amazing. I love that you're like multifaceted. You got all the things, girl. Like you got all the things. And I love it that you really started that massage journey from having your own journey with it. Like how amazing is that? Like, and I find that a lot of people in our industry, we all kind of started that way, where it was like either we were like struggling with our own skin, struggling with our own body, struggling, you know what I mean? So I love that. And thank you for sharing that. Now, your business, what I see a lot and what I'm hearing a lot is you really like to focus on creating a fully customized session each time for your clients. Like, how does that approach kind of set you apart from other massage therapists? And maybe, can you break down a few of your techniques that you use?
For sure, for sure. So over time, especially when you're fresh out of school, you're taught protocols, you're taught techniques and styles, and it's kind of hard to figure out how that's going to work if somebody comes in with a very special case. So something I forgot to mention was I've worked in high-end spas and in clinics throughout my career, and seeing the significant difference in the industries and client bases. Being able to cater to both was really important, but you miss out on really important things when you only do one versus the other. So when you go to a spa, you are guaranteed a fluffy robe and some champagne and a relaxing experience, but they might not fix that headache you're struggling with that you were hoping that Swedish massage was going to address. When you go to a clinic, you're so excited that you're going to feel better, but the lights might be on, you might be fully clothed, and the environment is not as catering. So when I started my own practice, I really wanted to combine the best of both worlds and create effective treatments that gave you a spa-like experience. And so that it has always been my personal approach. Now, what really started me on this journey was in massage school, we were asked to study up on some advanced modalities or unique modalities that probably not a lot of people have heard of. And so the first thing I thought of was, well, people walk on people's backs. Is this a thing? And I looked it up and came across Ashiatsu barefoot massage. Now, barefoot massage has branched out into quite a few different schools, but because I started it over a decade ago, I was kind of with the OGs of Ashiatsu Oriental Bar Therapy, created by Ruthie. And so over time, plus some additional education in higher education, I really understood the effectiveness of being able to go deeper with my clients. And so that niche really carved out a career for me that I have never struggled to find work. People have asked me to be a part of their practices just because it's so unique. From there, I added other things like myofascial release, myoskeletal alignment by Eric Dalton, which I highly, highly recommend. Cupping, I would consider myself a cupping specialist. Going back into that aesthetics practice, I do full body from facial cupping to lymphatic draining to static and dynamic cupping in the body. So I think they're really powerful tools, but I don't believe they are their own treatment. So what I mean by that is when you're trained in a certain modality and you're only taught a certain protocol, why not break it apart and handpick the best technique out of that modality for that client? So you don't really have to execute the full experience. So with my barefoot style of massage and going back into that customized service, I might only do it for your neck or for your low back or for your legs. And when you have someone in a unique position of, I have a neck fusion, but I'm an athlete who's maybe a larger individual, I can then use my barefoot massage for lower body techniques and then do all of my advanced neck work through MAT for the upper body techniques. And that's where you get a customized treatment that is effective and results oriented and give a wonderful facial massage because it's a 2 hour session and they can walk away feeling like they feel amazing, look amazing. And that's really how you create a better effective treatment than just normal protocols that were taught.
Yeah.
So, a little bit about myself. I love to dance, and my husband and I met dancing. And so, there's something a couple of my dance instructors told us, which is you have to know all the rules to break the rules. So, if
Mm.
you understand rhythm and count, you can dance almost any style to any music. If you understand how to effectively apply deep pressure or light pressure, how can you use that to better help the client in that session? So you have to know the rules to be able to break the rules. And that's my personal policy.
I love that. And honestly, like the customization is probably fun, right? Like
So
as,
much fun.
right? As professionals, sometimes I will say like working for spas, you kind of get a little bored sometimes offering like the same facials or the same, massage techniques or getting like all the upper body people or, so I love that you're able to kind of keep it fresh for yourself because every client, like you said, in every session is going to be a little bit different, I'm guessing. And even if a client comes back to you, it sounds to me like you still continue that customization because, like you were saying, like our bodies kind of go through the day, they go through the motions. Your clients are going through a lot of different things, in between the times that they see you. So I love that. Now, you have so many different modalities that you mentioned, and you kind of mentioned that, based on when your client comes in, that's kind of what will determine what you use and what you do. Is that correct? Like you'll talk to them, you'll kind of see with them. Obviously, we're doing that consultation work, and then you'll kind of decide from there. So your clients are just, open to all the techniques that you offer. Now, do you list that, or how do you go about that? Because obviously, like for a client like myself, if I didn't know that you offered all those techniques, like it might come to a surprise if all of a sudden you start offering them inside the treatment. So I'm guessing, do you go into a little bit of this in their consultation? Do you have it listed somewhere on your website? How does that go?
So if they find me through my website, they might have done a little bit of research. But if they just come to currently in my current position, I'm in a clinic and I can get into that. So if they're just meeting me for the first time based on a referral and they're like, I believe you and I trust you, but I know nothing, I go into how my goal is to make them feel safe and that everything I'm going to do is going to be the best thing for them. That also empowers me as a therapist because I've noticed that people can be really nervous about things they've never experienced before. So the barefoot massage is one of those examples because I've met people with feet phobias. Also, the cupping. I always tell people, please don't Google it before you meet me because it's not what's on the internet. And that style is different than how I choose to use it as a tool during the session. And then my goals with it. I'm not going to leave marks on your face versus if we're doing body cupping, you might get a mark or two, but it might be worth it based on the effectiveness of the treatment. So, allowing the client to feel safe, I think, has been one of the most important things that I've learned without really needing to pull out an entire list of everything I do simply because it empowers me and then it puts the client in a position to completely trust me. Now, what I hand back to them is you are allowed to let me know what you're uncomfortable with. Let me know if this is uncomfortable for whatever reason because I'm not in your body. So let's say we do something that causes a little bit of nerve pain for some reason. We never know why. That client can speak up and I will say, no problem, we can stop doing that. I also love essential oils. I could do an entire conversation about that. And there's a give and take with smell sensitivity, skin sensitivity, allergies. So
Right.
being aware and present with that client and letting them know, I want to use a peppermint oil for anti-inflammatory purposes, that can be in the middle of the service. And if they didn't mention during the consultation that they have an allergy, they can say, oh, I have an allergy. Great. We'll step away, no big deal. I can pull back. So
I love that.
I think that's where it allows me to not have to spend so much time explaining because if you get a little
Right.
bit into the weeds, you can scare someone a little bit
Yeah.
or maybe discourage them versus even though you have a really robust consultation, sometimes when you get started, you realize we're going to take a left turn here. I was like, I
Yeah.
wanted to do X, Y, and Z, but that's not what's happening based on how you're presenting maybe your skin as an esthetician. It's like, oh, you're a lot more sensitive than we expected. Or
Right.
muscular wise, this side of my body hurts so much, but then you realize it's due to atrophy and weakness, and there's no muscle to work on. So it's like, well, you booked a deep tissue, but there's nothing to work on.
All right.
So clearly that's not the goal. Like that is not going to be the best treatment for you.
I love that.
Um, so I think it's just empowering the client to feel safe with you and
Yeah.
then posing yourself as the authority in the room and then having a mutual respect with each other. And honestly, I
Hmm.
think that has been my true success for the last decade because I really don't have stories of bad experiences. I do feel for our peers in the industry who just day in and day out we hear of really horrible things that happen to them. And I
Hmm.
just don't have those stories. And I think it's based off the energy, the professionalism, the education, and the respect that you have to demand and energetically with your
Yeah.
clients, but also educate them into feeling empowered that it is an exchange and that you're both working together for their benefit.
Right. And I love that you're like, let's just keep it simple to the point of like we're going to build that trust factor first. We're going to build that connection first because that's really what the client is going to focus on is like, how is this person making me feel? And that feeling of like trusting and safety and all of those things that you said, like, yeah, they are definitely going to make that client's mind calm down so they don't necessarily ask all those questions. I love that. Now let's switch gears a little bit. So let's talk a little bit more about the business side of your business. How did you first hear about PocketSuite?
Yeah, so PocketSuite was actually referred to me by some business coaches. I will go into a little bit of history of how I got started on my own and then where I've landed. So, pandemic, ta-da, you're working your job, living your best life, working for someone, and now you have to figure it out because in the state of Texas, and I think the rest of the world, it became illegal to do our jobs. So, I built an underground demand with some private client base, and over time, it just became overwhelming to service them. I was doing at-home services. A lot of people ask me, do I do at-home services? And I don't love it because my specialty is my barefoot massage, and it is not a portable technique. Also, I just love having control over my environment. So, what really was that tipping point to starting my business was realizing that I had enough demand. And something that I did want to mention as well is if you are a solo therapist wanting to get started, do baby steps. Start bootstrapped. Don't just try to go all in unless you're super confident and have a plan, resources, and a support system. I definitely didn't have that. So I shared a treatment room with a friend that we rented out. And then I went back to my old job when it opened back up. So I was doing house calls, working, and working for myself for about almost 2 years before I completely went out on my own. In that time, I learned networking, I learned about entrepreneurship, and I really believed that I wanted some better guidance. And to get anywhere, it's always easiest to go with coaches. It's always the best results. So I listen to podcasts. I'm a huge podcast consumer because I have the longest commute ever. At that time, there was a podcast that was a spa based coaching podcast, and I reached out to them and became one of their clients. And so they gave me really two nuggets of advice, which was the networking, how to do that best. And then they referred me to PocketSuite and actually an amazing accountant at the time. And so that's where I came into contact with PocketSuite. And I just dove right in, tried to use as many features as possible that they offered. And anytime I had a question, I'd reach out. Now, what I
Mhm.
love about PocketSuite is they're still a up and coming company, I would say. And so they're very engaged with their clients and they
I
always
agree.
answered my questions. I could get on calls with people. And over time, I've had them for over 5 years now. I have seen the updates. I have seen them follow through with the requests that we as the clients have imposed, and they have done that for us. Now, they're super affordable. That's one of the most important things. I looked high and low. I tried multiple different scheduling. I tried different business phone numbers, apps, and things like that. And when I found PocketSuite and it was just an all-in-one for a solo massage therapist and it was affordable, it was like I tell everybody about it. I'm just like, it's
Yeah,
too easy.
you're right.
It's just use this. I understand maybe another one's more aesthetically pleasing, or maybe another one has one feature that might be a little bit more robust, but does it do as many features as this? And honestly, what I realized was they value the features that are going to give you the best return. And so one of those is their smart campaigns. And every time I launched one, I'd get clients. And then I loved that it tracked. And so throughout the year, I could see how much money I had earned and I would feel better even though there might have been ups and downs and a little bit of stress of feeling like, am I booked? Am I not booked? What do I need to do?
Right.
And so that's what's really awesome about it. It's just a very robust app for solo therapists or small practices.
I love that. And it sounds to me like you use a lot of the different things that they have available out there. So, as a business owner, we just already don't have a lot of time, right? You're with clients, you're trying to do things, back to back. You're trying to, so, Pocket Suite makes it so much easier for your day-to-day things, right? The operations of a business, but the client care is really there. And I feel like that's something I'm hearing from you is like the follow-ups, the reminders. Like if you're offering a package, you can send that campaign, maybe even referrals, if you have a referral discount or something like that. So I love this. Like Pocket Suite really has it all. And it sounds to me like you're using a lot. Now, my next question, which you kind of already answered, was, what is your favorite feature or most used feature from Pocket Suite? But I feel like you're going to probably say the campaigns. But do you have another feature that you like use daily or you're like, I could never live without this?
So actually, the first thing would be their business phone number. It just comes with the app. I did a Google number. I don't love Google numbers because when people call it, they know they're calling a Google number, and so it just not, doesn't make you look as good. And also the Google number app is a little bit more clunky versus PocketSuite just has it all in app, and it gives you a professional phone number you can put on your business cards and on your website. And the text messaging capabilities. So a little bit of like a tip that without the smart campaigns and investing money is I would have a group of people who their schedules just didn't allow them to pre-book as easily. So I would send a message every Monday at 7 a.m. What's my last minute availability? But you can schedule those text messages. And so if a client
Ooh,
texts me after hours, if it's not urgent, I can schedule the message to respond at 8 a.m. and it makes me look very professional, even though I might not be up till 9:30. So I do love that communication feature that is built into the app that you usually have to outsource
yeah.
outside of a scheduling app. The
Yep.
other part that goes hand in hand with the smart campaigns because you launch that campaign and then clients respond and you see
Mm-hmm.
it through that text messaging platform. So you are communicating and tracking. And then once again, it has these really cool tracking metrics and your
Mm-hmm.
KPIs
Mm-hmm.
that you can just all look in-house. And one of the last cool things that at the very beginning of my practice, when I was very engaged in it, it compares you to other people using the app.
Okay.
And I don't think that's a bad thing because sometimes I'll say this, when the market was kind of shifting and I was feeling like something's going on with me, I could check my revenue and it would compare me to the top 10, 20 people on the app. And then I could see that their numbers were also down. Or I
Right.
could, even though I was a solo, I did reach being number one at sometimes. And that was
That's
a
awesome.
really awesome feeling,
Yeah.
feeling like, wow, I'm really pushing, I'm really having some great success. But
Yep.
then other times it makes you feel not alone. And
Yeah.
that's really important because as a solo therapist, the first thing you're going to experience is how overwhelming it is and
Yep.
how lonely it is because
Yep.
everything is your problem and your
Right.
responsibility. So even that little sense of there's others using the app, there's others trying to work and do their thing, I could reference that and feel like, okay, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And Pocket Suite makes you feel like you are a part of a community, which I really like.
I love that. And I love the text message feature that you mentioned because honestly, people really they're checking their text more than their emails, right? I mean, I do anyway. Like if a text comes up on my phone, it's instantly showing up, whereas like you have to go into your email to check it, right? So like I love that. And I love that you can schedule the response. That is such a key feature. Like communication with your clients is vital, right? It's huge, but it's something that we need to make easier. And it sounds like Pocket Suite really did that. Now, what advice would you give to other massage therapists, specifically massage therapists that are newer to starting their business? What advice would you give them when they're going on their own?
Network, network for sure. And use a robust scheduling app. That will make or break you. I mean, you can have the most humble setup. You can be as bootstrapped as possible, but if you look like your customer service is 5 stars, which Pocket Suite makes you look that way through text message reminders, through being able to talk to your clients, it will make you look more professional and people will opt to feel like they can trust in you more and they will fall in love with you more to not even go to commercial places because now you are providing features that a commercial place would provide. I had so many clients compliment me on, wow, I love the text message reminders. You're very responsive. Um, when I
Yeah.
refer something to a client, when I build also YouTube playlists, when I say maybe do these exercises, I can send that all through the app. And that correspondence is what really keeps them engaged with you. And then if you want to re-engage them, PocketSuite will send you a message saying, so many people you haven't engaged with, consider re-engaging them, especially if you're looking like you want to fill your books because maybe it's a different season. Now, the other part is networking. So, going back to the position I'm currently in, I actually moved in-house to a large physical therapy practice to help build a massage team. This is
Cool.
something that I wanted to do going into teaching and coaching because I think it is something that a lot of different industries do not know how to use to their benefit.
Hmm.
So, also, a little additional thing about me is I live in Dallas, Texas, and I was a part of the doctorate chiropractic program. Due to some personal things, I did not finish, but I very deeply understand the practice and the philosophies, and also have some training on assessing alignment. What that means is that I also understand how massage therapy supports their treatment plans. And then now working in a physical therapy practice, I also understand how massage therapy supports those treatment plans. Being dual licensed as an esthetician, I now understand how massage therapy goes hand in hand with a wonderful facial treatment. So, a lot of businesses are not taking advantage of this complementary supplemental treatment that would give their patients and clients better results for the treatments they are receiving in-house. And so that is ultimately my current goal right now. And the way I found this position and this opportunity was through networking. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be here had I not gone to my chamber meetings, had I not
Right.
done my social media videos. You have to put yourself out there. It's really scary. I always make a joke. I am always stress sweating, but that's okay.
Right.
Enough perfume and enough deodorant will save you. And you really have to learn how to condense what your goals are and how to be able
Yeah.
to explain them almost in a 60-second elevator pitch.
Rip.
So I chose to market myself as the barefoot specialist, not because it's my only technique, but it's
Right.
because it's so niche, it starts a conversation.
Yep.
Then we dive into the customization, and I always tell clients, I can use my feet, but I don't have to. If
Right.
you don't qualify for the treatment or have an issue that would be dangerous for you to receive that treatment, I don't have to. I have so many other skill sets and I can create a customized technique. But by being the barefoot girl in the room, I
Yeah.
can, they approach me with fascination and intrigue.
Yeah.
So, representing myself very professionally is something that I pride myself in. I think that's where the dual aesthetics come in. The
Hmm.
aesthetics field or cosmetology field is a little bit more aesthetically elevated versus the massage field is health and wellness. So you're going to
Right.
get more sports style, more natural feelings versus the elevated aesthetic, shiny and prim. And so I have more of a love for that look. And so how could I still represent my wellness? My wellness approach through a professional and luxury lens. And that is the client base that I serve. I serve clients who their compliments to me are, I feel seen in your environment. And I also actually market quite a bit more to men based on my deep tissue specialties. And so I've met more therapists that are afraid or have deterred themselves as female therapists from promoting themselves to a general audience because of poor experiences. And so I
Hmm.
think the way I'm able to combat that is just through professionalism. And I can still be beautiful and have a luxurious environment and aesthetically pleasing without deterring my male client base and attracting my female client base. And people just want to sometimes be in an elevated environment. So
Yeah.
that is my aesthetic. And so networking is a very powerful tool. And
Hmm.
even if you feel like you don't fit in, because I could talk for days about the environment that I built my business in and marketed my business, how I like do not fit into the demographic that I treat. I have had a lot of success, and that's just based on how you present yourself, the energy you put out there, and making sure that you're working very hard to connect with the complementary practices and people that believe in your business and
Yeah.
being able to promote you on their behalf. And that was truly my success.
Yeah, I agree. Networking is huge. And I love just meeting people in person, honestly. Like, it just is so fun. And that connection is just so much more instant. But I agree with you. When you're going over your elevator pitch or, going over what you do, you really want to leave it a little bit like not open-ended, but you want to leave that intrigue there where you want them to ask more questions. You want them to be like, oh, wait, how do you do that? Or what do you know what I mean? So I love that you said that because I talk about that often too. Like, I love that. Like, but yes, network people, get out there and network. Now, you have mentioned so many amazing things. What is new and exciting coming up for you? Because it sounds to me like there's so much coming up, so many opportunities that people can soak their fingertips in. What is coming up for you?
So for me, currently, I'm just working on my teaching skills and coaching skills. So currently, I'm helping build a team in-house that I'm currently a part of. I am going to be an instructor at a retreat that I have a friend host, and so that's another teaching opportunity. As of right now, it's just mostly that. I'm always open to any social media opportunities. That's another thing about PocketSuite. PocketSuite really engages with their clients to where they found me on social media. They reached
Yeah,
out and asked me to be a part of their team.
I
And
love
it
that.
has been wonderful because it is really hard to diversify in our fields, I would say. And when you lock yourself into only having one style of income, it can be really
Hmm.
difficult to just find another opportunity. And I would say Pocket Suite, out of all of my other ventures, has been the most successful. And I was their client first. I have always spoken very highly of them, have always really enjoyed and appreciated their support, but also it's just because they have a good product. It's not
Yeah,
hard to promote something that's really awesome.
yeah.
And then it has been really validating that they have recognized me and my work and how I present myself in my business for them to encourage and give me opportunities to be a part of their team as well. So
I
it has
love
just
that.
been really awesome. Yeah.
I love that. Now, if people want to connect with you, because you had mentioned so many cool things, like that retreat sounds amazing, but
Mhm.
how can they connect with you? How can they follow you? How can they reach out to you?
So I'm on most platforms, of course, all of the normal ones. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook under the Dallas Massage Therapist. I'm also on LinkedIn. Don't check it as often, but feel free to reach out. My website as well. You can find my email on my website, my business phone number. Feel free to shoot me a text. Please introduce yourself because it will be deleted or blocked if it's just a random text message.
Right.
But I am very reachable. I really want to connect with people that have questions. It gives me an opportunity to grow whenever I can encourage someone to take an opportunity or let them know what my personal experience has been. I was in their shoes. I was brand new.
Hmm.
I did it all by myself with no help or resources. So it was really scary. It was really scary taking every single step to build what I built, then pivoting and trying to shift to take another opportunity. And so it takes time, it takes patience, but it's always connecting with people that are like-minded that will keep you pushing. We all have struggles.
Yeah.
It is really hard. This
Yep.
industry, the service-based industry, is really hard.
Hmm.
But it feels a little easier when you find people that support you, find people that will represent you as well, and just find yourself and be grounded in what your goals are. So that's what I have to say about that. But yes, I'm very reachable. I'd love to connect with whoever has any questions.
That's awesome. And of course, all of the links and all the things that she had mentioned, they will be in the show notes. So if you guys just click them, it'll be very easy and it'll take you right there. Well, thank you, Rosalind, for sharing your story, sharing about your business, and most importantly, sharing how Pocket Suite has impacted your story and your business. And thank you for being on Glowing Success.
Thank you. This has been amazing. I really appreciate this opportunity.
To learn more about how Pocket Suite can help you streamline your business, check out the link in the show notes. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, I'd love for you to leave a review. It really helps more people find the show. And if you know someone who'd also enjoy it, share it with them or tag me on Instagram so I can thank you. New episodes come out every week, so be sure to subscribe so you never miss one. See you next time.